A massive shift in U.S. immigration enforcement is unfolding right now. FBI agents are being pulled off criminal investigations and reassigned to immigration raids. At the same time, new rules are being prepared to tighten green card eligibility, and even migrant children are being offered cash to leave the country. This isn't rumor. It's happening right now, and the effects could reshape how immigration is enforced across America. This is Immiscope, your trusted source for U.S. immigration news, policy changes, and visa updates. In just the past 48 hours, multiple reports have confirmed one clear pattern. Immigration enforcement has become the top federal priority. Nearly half of all FBI agents in major field offices have now been reassigned to immigration-related duties. According to official data, around 3,000 agents, nearly one-quarter of the FBI's total workforce, are now assisting ICE and DHS in locating, arresting, and processing undocumented immigrants. Supporters argue it's necessary to regain border control and reduce backlogs in deportation cases. But critics warn it's coming at a steep cost. Fewer agents are now investigating cybercrime, terrorism, and public corruption cases. Why does this matter for immigrants? Because it signals a broad, nationwide surge in interior enforcement, not just at the border, but in workplaces, neighborhoods, and cities across the U.S. Green card rules under review. While enforcement is ramping up, another front is tightening employment-based immigration. The Department of Homeland Security has confirmed plans to propose a new rule to tighten eligibility for employment-based green cards by early 2026. The changes specifically target extraordinary ability applicants, professors, and researchers, categories often used under EB-1 and EB-2 national interest waiver pathways. Officials say the goal is to ensure these categories are not being used too broadly. But experts warn that even high-skilled applicants could soon face tougher evidence requirements and narrower definitions of national interest. If finalized, this rule could affect thousands of professionals currently applying for or renewing employment-based green cards. And for those planning future petitions, the bar may soon rise significantly. This is a critical reminder. Anyone pursuing EB visas should strengthen documentation, peer recommendations, and evidence of national benefit now, before the rule takes effect. Cash incentives for migrant children. A controversial new policy has stunned immigrant rights groups. The administration is offering $2,500 to unaccompanied minors aged 14 and above, if they agree to voluntarily return to their home countries. On paper, it's framed as a voluntary departure program. But critics argue that offering money to minors without proper legal counsel could amount to coercion. The payment is only issued after judicial approval. But advocacy groups say many children may feel pressured to accept without fully understanding their rights. This is the first time such an incentive has been extended to unaccompanied minors, raising ethical and legal concerns across immigration courts. Watch for possible lawsuits in the coming weeks as immigrant rights organizations challenge the policy's legality. ICE expansion and press restrictions in Chicago. Another flashpoint this week. The Department of Homeland Security is expanding ICE operations across the Chicagoland area. Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem pledged a larger federal presence and increased coordination with local law enforcement. However, the expansion has already sparked controversy. A federal judge issued a 14-day restraining order barring DHS agents from using force or riot gear against journalists during enforcement operations unless there is probable cause. Agents must also display visible identification during all raids. These developments highlight growing tension between aggressive immigration enforcement and civil liberties. For viewers in major U.S. cities, this signals more visible ICE activity, more checkpoints, and potentially higher community anxiety in immigrant neighborhoods. International pushback against deportations. Immigration is not just an internal issue. It's becoming a diplomatic one. This week, Burkina Faso publicly refused a U.S. request to accept deported nationals, calling the demand unworthy and indecent. This follows similar resistance from countries in Southeast Asia. where deported individuals are being left stranded in nations they've never lived in. In one case, a Hmong man deported under new ICE rules was left without language skills, housing, or family connections. Diplomats warn that growing international refusal to accept deportees could complicate America's removal operations and increase the number of stateless individuals stuck in legal limbo. For families in removal proceedings, this means longer detention times, delayed flights, and unpredictable outcomes. New tactics and increased raids. Reports from several cities, including Chicago and Dallas, show that ICE is increasingly using military-style tactics in immigration raids. Helicopters, breaching devices, and early morning forced entries have all been documented. Critics say it's a show of power designed to intimidate. Supporters argue it ensures officer safety during high-risk arrests. Either way, the shift marks a clear escalation in how immigration laws are being enforced on U.S. soil. Civil rights groups are already preparing lawsuits alleging unconstitutional use of force and warrantless entry in residential areas. Real-world consequences. All of these developments, FBI reassignments, stricter green card rules, and militarized enforcement, paint one clear picture. The U.S. immigration system is entering its most aggressive phase in recent years. For immigrants, green card holders, and visa applicants, this means more scrutiny on applications and renewals, faster removals for those without current status, higher documentation standards for employment and self-petition categories. Those planning to adjust status, extend visas, or file green card petitions should act quickly while current rules still apply. Risks and opportunities. While the tone of enforcement is getting tougher, there are still opportunities. Lawful permanent residents and skilled professionals who maintain compliance can continue to benefit from faster adjudications, as DHS reallocates staff from fraud investigations to case processing. However, any lapse in legal status, unpaid taxes, or missing documentation could trigger heightened review. This is not the time for delays or incomplete filings. Consult accredited representatives or immigration attorneys to safeguard your status. Today's U.S. immigration landscape is shifting fast. FBI agents are now part of the immigration crackdown. Employment-based green cards are under review. Minors are being offered cash to self-deport. ICE is expanding in major cities. And other nations are pushing back on U.S. deportation demands. Every one of these changes signals the same message: enforcement first, discretion second. For immigrants, awareness and preparation are the best defenses. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon for future updates. Thanks for watching Immiscope. See you in the next video.